Good morning, everybody. It's Ben Jones from Batdorf and Bronson Coffee Roasters, hanging out here on this lovely Friday morning in my workshop. I don't like this light. I'm going to turn that off. Anyway, we're here in the workshop. We're going to make a sweet summer treat drink. We kind of touched on this before, so it's sort of a riff on the traditional Vietnamese coffee. We'll be using some sweetened condensed milk because it's incredibly easy to do it this way. I actually prefer. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So we can do it with this, with the sweetened condensed milk. If you don't have that, you can just use like some cream. It's I think it's better when you use like a heavier textured milk. It'll give you kind of a little more texture in there. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start. The most important part of this is just get a good cup and put a lot of ice in there. You really want to have a good heap of ice. Don't be afraid to really kind of pile it in there, because all that space in the middle is gonna get filled up with our tasty treat. I'm just gonna set that aside and let that chill. Got my water all hot. And Brandon's saying, are we doing summer already? Yes, out here in the Pacific Northwest, as soon as we start having nice springtime weather, we get really excited. We start thinking it's summer because we've had January, February, and then March can be really rainy, April can be really rainy. Anyway, so we've been having some really nice weather lately, so we get really excited for summer and we start doing ice drinks and summer cold drinks. So we're just gonna get a running start at this one. All right, to do this, I'm gonna need to make sort of a highly concentrated coffee, so something much more stiff and thick than I would normally go with. I could use any of my dripper methods, just using more finely ground coffee and a lot less water. However, and I know I use this all the time, but it's super handy, the AeroPress is going to be my go-to for this. I'm going to make a few changes to my recipe. I'm using 1 paper filter instead of 2, like I normally do. And I've taken the coffee, normally I'm going with a sort of a medium drip grind, maybe a little bit more on the coarse side of drip. This one, I'm going pretty fine. Not as fine as espresso, but definitely finer than I would go for most other things. There's kind of this, like French press, Chemex, coarse drip, medium drip, fine drip, and then there's this huge range of kind of nothing, and then we have espresso. So there's a lot of the finer stuff we don't really use, but it'll be great for this. All right, so I just put that here in my AeroPress. I should probably tilt you down so you can see what I'm doing. Into my AeroPress, I'm just going to add water about halfway up. Whereas normally I would go all the way to the top when I'm making my standard mug. For this one, I'm only going about halfway up because I want to have a much more concentrated coffee. I also upped my dose, went from 19 grams for my standard diner mug. I went ahead and put in 25 grams. So finer, a little more coffee, and a lot less water. The goal is really intense coffee. I'm gonna plug that, let that steep a moment. I'm just gonna set this aside. And while that does that, I'm just gonna take my sweetened condensed and I'm just gonna add, I don't know, however much I think I wanna have. There we go, I don't wanna go too crazy. This stuff is really rich. All right, give a little steep here. Think about something fun. Think about how much you really do love summer and you're gonna be sad when second rainy season in the Northwest comes back. Typically in, late June, early July, we start getting more rain. Anyway, so right now we're gonna enjoy it and we're gonna have summer drinks. So give that a little steep. The fine grind doesn't need as long a steep. And then just a nice even, gentle pressure. Some people like to give the AeroPress a little swirl. That's fine, do that. And then it's already starting to hiss at me. I don't really get much from pressing farther through. I can keep going on to get a little bit of the texture out of there if I wanted to. There we go. All right. So now I have sweetened condensed and our espresso, or not our espresso, our espresso-esque strong coffee. Just give that a swirl. I mentioned you can do this with the drip through methods, but sorry for my thumb, I just got to swipe the little swipey thing. You can do it with the drip through methods, but it's a lot more efficient and easier if you can use something like the AeroPress. If you're a fan of the Moka Pot, that's a great option. You can get some of that too. All right, so here we go. I have my little icy mug, and we'll just, the little bit of dilution that's going to happen isn't a big deal. You can see even with my full cup of ice, I still have some room. So here we are. That's it's a nice, sweet, creamy little iced latte at home. The coffee I'm using for this is our special Voyager run limited supply, the Colombia La Illusion. It's a natural processed Colombian coffee, which means when the fruit of the coffee was picked from the plant, the seed was dried with the fruit remaining on the outside, so all the fruit flavor got absorbed into the seed essentially, and we then can taste that in our brewed coffee. The magic of it is that you get this incredibly fruity, like strawberries and raspberries, sometimes blueberry tones. This one's very heavy in the raspberry and strawberry zone, especially when you mix it with some milk. Get a little bit of dairy in there, and then that becomes like strawberry quick. So this is like a super fruity, strawberry, creamy, super yummy. So I'm gonna sip on that because I think we're pushing 70 degrees today, which here in the Northwest we consider a glorious, glorious day. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful Friday, and I will see you on Monday.